If you've been following me for any length of time, you probably already know I believe 100% that doing videos will rapidly increase your real estate business. How do I know this? Because that's exactly what it did for mine. On my other YouTube channel, Central Florida Homes by Veronica Edwards, when I started doing YouTube videos a few years ago, that is when my business exploded. If you've been thinking about doing videos, now is the time to start. It is not too late. You look perfect the way you are, and there's room for everyone to be successful. So in this video, I'm gonna go over my top 10 tips to help you be successful with your videos as well. And I'm starting with tip number 1. Okay, you want to make sure whether you're inside shooting your video or outside, make sure you look around that there's nothing distracting behind you. You also don't want to be pressed up against a wall if possible. You can have a plain black background, or you can have something like I do, just have something set up so you just are eager and ready to do your videos. You have no excuse to talk yourself out of it. You have the lighting, everything set up and ready to go. Or maybe you're outside and you want to do a video. Just look around again to see what is behind you. If you have a bunch of dogs and kids running around screaming, your audience may pay more attention to them and less to your message. Maybe just pick a place where the sun is in front of you and maybe just some beautiful landscaping in the background if possible. Normally, if you try hard enough, you can find something that will meet your criteria so you don't have a busy background. Tip number 2, this one I see a lot of people mess up, is make sure, it's so important, you look into the camera. Here's me looking into the camera talking to you. Here's me looking at my screen, seeing what I look like, how I'm talking. Do you see the difference? It's just a little bit of an eye shift, but it makes all the difference with your viewers. Make sure you look into the camera, whether it's a camera on your cell phone, find out where the camera is if it's your cell phone, do a couple rehearsal videos, but make sure you look into that and try real hard not to keep doing this. Number 3, try to be yourself as much as possible. Now, I get it, your first few videos, you may be a little more robotic or not as comfortable because you haven't done videos yet and you have so many thoughts going through your mind. Like, am I saying the right thing? Did I forget that one word I wanted to say? Is the lighting good? Like, you will get better as you make more videos. Like anything, the more you do it, the better you'll get. Now, with that said, being yourself, if I could suggest one little tip I found to be quite helpful is, if anything, be a little more happier, a little more energetic, a little more giving and loving into your videos. And it will reflect back to your audience. And you won't seem overly giddy or nothing. If you were to meet me in person, you would see this is how I am. I am a rather energetic person. But if we were having a one-on-one conversation, I would be quite friendly. But when I'm doing the video, I just try to be a little more friendlier as I feel the video kind of mellows it out a little bit, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, just be your authentic self as best as you can. Okay, number 4, make sure you know where you're going with the video. This is something I used to stumble in the beginning. I would be like, okay, I got this great topic. Let me go ahead and start going over my video. And then I'd be like, how do I end the video? Do I do a call to action? Do I just say goodbye? Like, kind of go through it a few times and make sure you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I know it kind of sounds silly, but trust me, if you don't do that, you'll sit down, you'll be ready, you got the lighting, you got the room, you got everything set, and then you're like, I don't know how to end my video, or how do I start it? Just know where you're going with your video. Well, leads me to tip 5. If you mess up, don't worry. That's the beauty of editing. I can almost guarantee you as I'm making this video, no, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of this video, I messed up. And so what I did was, I just paused, I went, And then I started again. Because when I pause, it will be easy for me to edit that broken part out, the part I don't want, the part where I feel I messed up. And then I just started again. So say I was to mess up here now and say something like, oh darn, that's not what I would just stop and I'd cut that previous part out, and then I'd be like, okay, this is how we're going to do this. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully I don't have to edit that part out. Number 6. I kind of touched on this earlier when I mentioned your background and your settings, but light. Such a simple tip. It's really easy to do. No special equipment. Of course, at some time as you advance in your videos, you can get some lighting equipment, but to just get started, that's what you want to do, is always, the tip is always to have the light in front of you and above you. So if you're outside, whatever you do, don't put the sun behind you. You will have these dark bags. You will look horrid. You'll be like, oh. Not only could it be an ego thing, but it just makes you look a little scary in your video. So even with egos aside, you still want to look presentable, right? You don't want to look creepy or scary. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, just go ahead and take a photo or a quick video of yourself with the sun in front of you, and then turn around and put it behind. You will see a huge difference. Right now, I'm recording this in my room, and I have a big picture window in front of me, and it's in the morning where I feel I have the best sunlight, and I have a ceiling light above me. That is the only lighting equipment I have. Now, it's a beautiful view I'm looking at, and ideally, I would love for you to see that as the backdrop, but the problem is, I turn into a monster. I have those dark bags and that scary appearance. So instead, I use this way, because it's that important to have the lighting in front of you. And then, of course, obviously, not when the sun, because you don't want to be squinting and all, but again, I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information. Just make sure the lighting is coming above and in front of you. Number 7, once you filmed your video, whether it be by your phone or camera or however you prefer to shoot your videos, before you close the curtains, shut off the light, change your outfit, shut down your set, watch your video. In the beginning, I hadn't done that, and then when I went later to go edit it, I had noticed maybe on my phone one time the sound wasn't connected. I was like, oh no, I can't, I gotta redo the video. Well, by then, it wasn't fresh in my mind. I had to really start back up. And of course, I had to do it, set the setup and do it again. Another time I did a video and there was something in my teeth. I'm like, there's no editing that out. So while you have everything set up, say I go through this video, I've checked all my teeth, I've checked the sound, I've checked everything, it should be fine. But still to this day, I will take the card out, put it into my editor, and just look at it real quick and make sure there's sound, lighting, everything is fine. And then I'll shut my windows, set my set down, change my clothes to whatever I want. Just make sure you preview, do yourself a favor real quick before you shut everything down. Number 8, make sure you're aware of the sounds around you. Try to find the best time when, if your children are small and you have them at home with you, you know they always nap, or of course they go to school at a certain time, because screaming, crying babies in the background would be very distracting. My kids are grown and out of the home. However, I live in an area where the landscapers come flying by on a moment's notice. It is very distracting. A couple of times I was in the middle of a video and all of a sudden they came right up to my back glass door, and they're very loud, the machinery. And we just sit there, wait for them to pass, and then edit that out. But sometimes they stay out there for a while. So I just learned to film real early in the morning before they come here, or film on like Sundays when I know they're not working on Sundays. So be very, very aware of your sound. It'll save you a lot of sanity, a lot of editing, and just hopefully you can get your video done in one take. Number 9. Make sure if you're going out in the field, your battery's charged, or whether your camera, sometimes I bring a backup battery, you just never know. I've had batteries I could have sworn were fully charged and then something wonky happened, and I just quickly had my backup battery and switched it out, so I was able to continue recording, especially since I had drove to a particular spot. to film a video, and I did not have to worry about my battery running out. Or if you're using your cell phone, which with these cell phones nowadays, perfectly acceptable, just make sure your cell phone's fully charged and or you bring a power cord, of course. I know, again, that sounds simple, but if you drive somewhere, you have your whole day ready to shoot this, well, not the whole day, you have some time set aside to film this perfect video, and your batteries go dead, it's going to be quite the bummer. Just make sure you bring backups, chargers, whatever it takes, get that video done. And number 10, above all, be happy. Just don't worry, these videos are going to be amazing. You may even hit it out of the park on your first few videos. I have someone that I sponsor at my company and I help mentor her, and she's a natural at this. I'm just blown away by how wonderful she is doing her videos. We kind of work and tweak a few things. And if you're interested in finding out more how I can help mentor you, please schedule a clarity call with me in the link below. And I wish you much love, happiness, and success. Till next time.